Hey friends, this is Grace and welcome to my channel and welcome to that first batch of the April flowers card that I am making. So this is card number 1 and I'm going to do something different about this card. You actually will not see the end of it until the very end of this set. So basically you'll see it in the second video. The reason for that is because I am going to use that stencil and it takes a while for this to dry, so I figured that I will make other cards and then just show it to you afterwards. Also, it kind of gives you a little bit of something to look forward to on the next video. So I've seen this before where they would use some kind of stickles or Nouveau drops or some kind of medium, and then they would use that as a paint or medium to go through stencils. And so I knew that I wanted to do that here, not only because I don't use my Nouveau drops often enough, but also because I feel like that gloss of that Nouveau drop will have a nice effect on this flower, and it does. I can't wait to show you guys how it all turned out. One thing that I'm going to say is that because this is a stencil and you're using some kind of paint or medium, it's really best for you to wash this right away. So that's what I'm going to do after I'm done with this. And I'm also using a scraper spatula type of tool because it helps it make sure that it's fairly even, as I put it. Now, my problem when it comes to these kinds of things is that whole scraping movement is really calming for me, and so I don't know when to stop. I should have stopped maybe 15 strokes ago, but I just can't because I just like the idea of scraping and like taking off the excess. So I should have stopped, but I didn't. So there's some parts that are white, but it's okay. It's all going to work out. So when I peel this particular stencil off, you will see that beautiful flower. And because my paper is a little bit smaller than an A2 size card, it's a rectangle, and this flower is more oriented for square. So I did put intentionally put that flower stencil a little bit to the left so that it looks like it's coming from that direction, and it'll just cut off on the edge of the left side. And I did use some washi tape just so that I can hold that stencil and it doesn't move. And so that's my flower, and I'm going to of course set it aside to dry. Now we're going to go on to card number 2, and I did a lot of prepping for this particular card set just because I don't really have time to do those major filming, and so I did a lot of kind of behind the scenes work. One of the things that I wanted to do with this particular kit is I wanted to play with the Roses layered stamp set, and this is from Hampton Arts. It was actually kind of good for me to do that behind the scenes and not have that filmed because it took me a while. This particular set has 3 layers of flowers, I think even more, but I could not for the life of me make it work for the 3. So I ended up just doing 2. One which would be like, as you can see, that whole background set that you see on the top left, and then the layered set. So I just did 2 colors, and I actually really like how it turned out. I like the flowers and the details that it provides when you use the layering stamp. And I also added some of that kind of vine leaf type of design and added that in between the flowers. And then I heat embossed this sentiment that says my life is rich because you I also heat embossed that circle Love You Mom. I used the green embossing powder. And because it's a circle, I wanted to use some kind of something behind it. And so I decided to punch out some scallops. And I am just using my corner rounder because I feel like when my project is too square or too like boxy, I like to have a little bit of angles there, or not angles, but curves, so that it will break out those angles that I have created. Now I accidentally adhered that too soon, and it was crooked, and I was trying to peel that off, and the ATG gun was really stuck on there, so I had to pry it open and add a little bit more adhesive, but it's all good. And then I'm just going to put this sentiment to cover that circle. Now you can leave it as is, but I like a little bit more dimension to my cards. And so again, because my Nouveau Drops is already on my table, I'm going to add a little bit of dots to the top because that's the solid part. And then I just decided to add a little bit of florals or dots to the florals on the bottom. And I have to say, I really love it because when it dried, it just has that little texture and it's not too bumpy, that I am able to send it through the mail, the regular post office mail. And so that's going to be card number 3. Okay, now we're going to go on card number 4, and this is very similar to the previous card. I am just using different kinds of pattern paper, and I'm sorry that the video is a little bit blurred. I did not realize that it wasn't autofocusing. So I am going to use these flowers paper over here and then this dot one. These two papers are from the Dear Lizzie line, and the third card had the kind of the floral, the bigger pattern on the bottom, and then this one switched it where the paper with the larger patterns are going to be on the top. And then I also have that strip of paper again from the same Dear Lizzie line. And then I'm going to again round the corners. I wanted to make sure that I am orienting it right because I had to make sure that it's, the flowers look like they're actually right side up and not upside down. I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to all of my layers before I adhere it to my light green cardstock base. So I'm going to do pretty much the same design that I did with card number 3, but instead of the larger Love You Mom, I have a small heat embossed circle one that says, You Are the Best Mom. And I found a already cut flower, and that plaid one just looks like one of the flowers from that spring line, so I decided to use that. And then I'm going to add some Nouveau Drops. Now, instead of adding it to the background pieces, I am adding it directly to the petals of the cut paper flower. And then I'm going to call that good. Tap it a little bit and then set it aside to dry. And here is the close-up. Now, this is the last one for this particular video. Again, if you are new to this series, I pull out some items from my stash and then I make some cards with it. This is based off of a very popular series that we see here on YouTube where people buy card kits from different manufacturers and they make 10 cards. So for me, instead of buying it from a company, which is not bad at all, but I just know that I have a lot of supplies already, and so I make my own kit and then make 10 cards out of it. What I love about this is that you instantly have 10 cards and they all have the same theme. So like for these particular cards, the theme was mom, and right after I had taken pictures of the finished cards to add to this video, I was able to send 2 of them, one for my mother-in-law and one for my own mother. So it was very helpful for me to have these cards already on hand. So I was able to send it in the time before Mother's Day. Now, I know that when you will be watching this particular card video that it will not be, it will be after Mother's Day. And I apologize for that. It's just, time is very, like, I don't have a lot of time right now, but I hope that you will still find some inspiration with this particular cards, especially since it is still considered spring. And so with this one, I'm using the stencil again, and I am just using one of my like finger dauber type of brushes, and then I'm just adding some color to the insides of that stencils with some distress ink. Now I have two different pinks here, and then I added some yellows just because when you look at a flower, the centers are always a little bit of a different color. Usually it's because of the buds inside the flower. Now I know this is not one of those flowers that would have a bud. I believe this is more oh, I forgot the flower already. Anyways, it will come to me. But this kinds of flowers are a little bit like some of them you can do greens for this particular. Oh, I know what that flower is. I just can't think of it right now. And I'm sure if you are watching it, you're probably screaming it on your screen because I do that a lot as well. But anyways, I like how it looked. And I actually did place the flower a little bit on the top right, just because the first card I did it on the center left. Now I got a little bit of ink on the bottom of that, and I wanted to erase some of it, and it did, but it still have a little bit on there, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. Now I have this heat embossed stamp, thanks stamp, and I am going to add that to the bottom left, and then I will add that whole piece to the green cardstock base because that just seemed like the best place to put it. I am looking for something. I can't remember what I was looking for. I think I was looking for maybe something to use as a border for that thanks sentiment. I was thinking maybe I could add that to another paper so that it's not the same color as the white, but I actually like how it turned out. I mean, it's still fairly different colors, so I'm okay with that. But I was just kind of thinking that maybe I should have a color to, like a colored cardstock to buffer those two different pieces of paper, but they worked out well. So those are my cards for today. Again, you will see cards 6 through 10 in the next video. So if you are not subscribed yet, please do so and hit that button. Hit the thumbs up button. Oh man, I am losing it today. Hit the bell button so that YouTube will notify you of the next video. Until the next time, I will see you again. Bye.